Right, we're going to move on to our first keynote today, which is from Stephanie Lawler. Stephanie is the Head of Repairs at 13 Group. So over to you, Steph, if you want to share your screen.
Morning, everyone. Like Joe said, I am Head of Repairs at the 13 Group. I basically manage a team of over 180, 150 of them being operatives. So the rest includes repair managers, team leaders, schedulers, and customer ambassadors. Just to touch on, obviously, challenges, I think very similar to others, the people has probably been the biggest challenge in the welfare at 13. Since March, we started to run an emergency service, but we quite soon after went into a full repair service in June. So pleased to say that we have kept people safe and we have been running a repair service since June time, full doors, so any repairs, and we have zero backlog. So that's something that we're really proud of, but it has been difficult. I think the buy-in from the operatives, I'm not too sure why it's been as easy, to be honest, for certain teams as what it is. We've managed to keep people at work. We've got very little resistance, but being very honest, during COVID, we actually lost 3 of our colleagues. So that was a bit of a kick. 3 of our colleagues passed away during COVID, which was quite difficult. But again, the trades remained at work, remained present and carried on carrying out the repairs, hence the zero backlog. So it's been a real challenging time at 13, but we've come through it. So I've been at 13 for around 16 years now. So I've gone through investments, moved over to voids, and now I'm on repairs. So I've been there for quite a while and know a lot of the team and just been through a lot of their challenges throughout the years and previous mergers, really. So this is just a little bit about 13. So 13 is a housing association. It's a succession of unions between social housing providers over the last 20 years. So this has led to 13 being one of the largest housing associations in the North East, and it's amongst the biggest 25 nationally. We actually own and manage around 34,000 properties. 30,000 of them are in the Tees Valley area, and we have more than 70,000 customers across that area. So our experience extends to its extra support services, including supporting vulnerable, money advice, as well as improving our homes and estates. And we also build new homes for rent and for sale. So there's just a little bit about 13. And thinking about kind of at a glance, so last year we were on, this year, sorry, we're on track to deliver around 150,000 repairs still. So we did think that would originally dip, but the demand has just flown back in the doors as soon as the doors opened in June. We're on track to complete over 2,500 adaptations. And last year we actually produced a 6.5 million efficiency saving, and we've got an asset database worth £1 billion. So quite a lot going on, as you can imagine. These are our areas of operation. So as you can see, predominantly in the Tees Valley area, like I mentioned, but the majority is across Middlesbrough and Stockton. So we have the main 3 councils at Stockton, Middlesbrough and Hartlepool. You'll probably notice them as being one of the areas that have got one of the probably the worst COVID rates at present over the last few weeks, hence the tier 3 and the struggles. I think the areas we work in are probably what have put the challenges our way. As much as we are delivering a repair service, we've got a lot of self-isolation going on at the moment. So we are dropping resource every other week. So hopefully in the new year with the vaccine and everything, things will really start to improve for us. But that's predominantly where we work. We do have what we class as outlying areas, such as Gateshead and Newcastle. So we go down to Whitby. So we do have kind of, I think it's about 1,800 properties, which we class as, you know, the outer areas as such. So the challenge for us, we've been on quite a bit of a journey, but back in 2016, we implemented a new overall kind of plan, which was really to basically improve the repairs and maintenance service. And some of the key goals of that plan were to reduce system outages, remove any manual paperwork processes, improve our KPIs such as right first time, made and kept appointments and average days, which was one of the key goals, the speed of the repair. And then a biggie for us was to reduce the cost of repairs and deliver some efficiencies. Not forgetting one of the major goals have been to improve customer satisfaction and reduce complaints. So kind of what we did is in 2017, we submitted a business case to find us a new repair system, which was basically bespoke to us and what we were delivering at 13. So we went on a bit of a procurement journey, and the team was shown demonstrations from all the market leaders within the sector. I think we've seen around 5 systems in total. And the successful applier was Rock. I know Peter's here today, so he's probably sick of seeing some of these slides. But Rock were successful in that tender, and then we went out and the project got underway. So this is just a little journey, a little map of our journey so far. So basically, like I said, it started back in 2016-17, but in about, I think it was September 2017, we went live with our first group, and that was responsive repairs and gas servicing. So during this, we went live on PDA. We then put van stock, so it was automated van stock. We had live performance reporting, and it was around 150 operatives involved in that process back in September 2017. We definitely learned from past experiences when it comes to testing and training. The testing was very robust this time. We spent months, different areas of the business, from supply chain to contact centres, to schedulers, to trades, to finance. We had everybody in the room for about 2.5 months, so taken away from the day job, to basically map out our current process maps, but then look at where they were falling down and remap them. We were very keen on getting a system that worked around us and not us working around a system this time. And I'm pleased to say that this did exactly that. We then went into training prior to going live in September. And what we'd learned is handing out manuals when doing like some digital was not the way forward. It did not work for us last time. There are people out in the field on go live falling to pieces. We lost the buy-in from the operatives, which is one of the worst things you could do. So this time we did training over weeks, and it did take a while, but it was the right way to do it. We had 12 in a room at one time. We had trade ambassadors out in the field on go live who were out there kind of helping people on the day that we went live if they were struggling. But we did kind of test jobs down to the PDA. So before anybody left the room from testing, they could say that they had accepted a job, they had declined a job, they had no access to jobs. So they felt fully confident. And we did that with all teams. We did that with the contact team and the schedulers. So again, we had them raising repairs, raising follow-up works, taking jobs off people, everything that they would need to do in their job, basically, day to day. So it went really well. And we also added stress testing in, which was a great hit. We had 70 to 80 operatives in one room, feeding them full of pizza to make sure they worked. And they basically were fed job after job by a team in another room. And we wanted to break the system, but thankfully we never. So that was good. And it proved that it worked, because we knew that when we went live with 150 people, we wouldn't have had that experience. So yeah, so it went really well. So shortly after that, we went live with out of hours. Now, this was a must for me. Like people have mentioned, manual processing, paper-based. Out of hours was fully paper-based. It was a call centre giving jobs over the phone, having to complete them, raise them the next morning. And there was no van stock. It was all paper van stock. So when this went live, it was a big hit in the May time. So now we could order a lock on the PDA at 1 a.m. in the morning, and it would be sat there at 8 a.m. for the trade to pick back up. So it was fantastic the way that the out of hours went. And that was across, there's about 80 operatives on call out. So again, some of them had already been in phase 1, so had use of it. Some of them had never used a PDA before, so it was quite scary to some, but it was a big hit. But in September last year, just before Christmas last year, we went live with voids. This was probably one of our biggest areas, although not as big operative-wise as repairs. Our voids team had never been on a PDA before, so they never used a system whatsoever. And they went from complete paper-based and empty properties to using a PDA. So it was a big ask. And thankfully, we decided to do this in geographical areas. So we went Middlesbrough, Hartlepool, Stockton, and we rolled it out one by one so we could make sure that we didn't do a big bang. It didn't fall on its face and we kind of lost the trades input. So it went really, really well. And we were really pleased with it. So voids have been up and running now for nearly a year, which is fantastic. And then lastly, during the pandemic, which again is difficult training people, and contractors. We actually went live with Contractor Portal in October time. This has got about 9 contractors going through it at the moment, so quite a lot. We trained them all via Teams. So we trained our own teams via Teams, and then we trained the contractors. It wasn't what we planned. We did plan to do a day in 13 office and a day at the contractor office, but we have to adapt to the situation, and we did. The contractors were biting at the bit to get on the contractor portal, I'm not going to lie. From the day we put the tender out, they wanted to be in the contractor portal because they see the benefits themselves. They're seeing them already just from October. The ownership that is put on the contractor to accept a job, add SORs, decline a job, add notes is absolutely fantastic. The way I explain it to some of the trades is like, it's like they're one big operative. They do exactly what an operative does in the field. They accept a job, they add an SOR, they add any notes that they want to do. And like with an operative, we can see that real time back in our system. So our contact team now are fully up to date with everything that's going on with our contractors, which usually it would be phone calls, emails, and spreadsheets. So really pleased that we're able to get that off the ground and running in October. So a little bit about where we are now. So delivering a great customer experience is still our main priority at 13. We've got dedicated teams achieving so many milestones. We've brought new initiatives in across the board, which is fantastic. And we're really now concentrating on the speed, the quality, and the responsiveness to ensure that we get it right on this customer journey. Our customer satisfaction last year reached the highest it's ever been. So I'm really, really proud of that. Because it's a big ask on repairs. Obviously, sometimes you're not always given the answer that the customers want. So it is a big ask, but I'm really proud of the team on that. And one of our biggest KPI improvements was actually average days to complete a repair. So last year we got down to 5.8 days, bearing in mind back before our digital kind of journey started, we were around about 11 to 12 days. So we were quite up there back in the day. So we have really, really improved that since we've gone live with our system. And right first time, made and kept, we're all upper quartile for every KPI at present. We've got a really improved planning kind of team there. So we're doing new processes. It's a lot more slicker. And the productivity levels have massively increased. So the productivity has increased to the point where that's where our savings have been produced. Saved, like, say, $500,000 on subcontractor spend previously, just because of the volume of work we're turning out internally. So again, that's fantastic on the team. And because the implementation of the system was so successful, for my sins, I was given an extra team last year. So adaptations previously sat with our investment side, but when they'd seen what the system could do for repairs and gas servicing, they decided to move the adaptations team to myself and to put it through the system. And I'm pleased to say that it is working like a dream. You've got adaptations where you've got small repairs, but then you've got your big level entry, you know, your big 5-day repairs. We were thinking, will this work? And it completely has. Our adaptations customers now get the text messages, to get the reminders, to get everything that our repair customers get. So that's been a big thing for us. And it was quite a surprise. We moved them last October, so October 2019. And within 2 months of being in the system, I was able to reduce the team by 3. So it's only a small team. It was only, I think it come over at about 15. So they're only 12 now, and they're churning out the same amount of work. So we've been able to move them 3 into other areas of the business where the vacancies were. So it just shows the kind of the efficiencies and savings you can make from getting it right. And then just lastly, also in the pandemic, we went live in June with real-time satisfaction. So this was a big thing for us. Previously, we used an external company who spoke to 400 customers a month, which for me wasn't good enough. It wasn't big enough sample. We do 12,000 repairs a month. So what we decided to do was go with text messaging. So basically, during COVID, we launched this with 2 trade groups, and then we went with a whole bang approach back in September it was. So again, we do two text messages. We fire one out when appointment is booked. So again, it's based on the status in the system. So as soon as it is appointment booked, a text survey will go out, and again on physically complete. It's been really, really good. It's been really well received. We've kind of got over 25% response rate, which is fantastic. So we're getting thousands of responses a month to be able to really delve into and improve the service. But I think for me, one of the big things is the actual scores. They speak for themselves. We've got a net promoter score of 77.22. So bearing in mind 50 is kind of excellent, 70 is the best of the best, and they kind of class it as rare and outstanding. So I quite like the fact that we're quite rare. So we're kind of really trying to improve on that even more with looking at the detail of that comes back, because one of the questions we offer a 24-hour callback. So if a customer wants to speak to us about their repair or even their experience at 13, our customer ambassador team call them back within 24 hours of them sending the text back. And we're really getting some of the detail of what it might be. So we've done loads of work through this pandemic, to be honest, and I'm really proud. So that's kind of it for me, really.